It began with a phone call. A calm yet eerie voice confessed to a double homicide near Vallejo, California. "I killed those kids," he stated plainly before hanging up. The call came just before midnight on July 5, 1969, from a payphone near a gas station. The man gave specific details about the crime, details that had not been made public. Police traced the call, but by the time they arrived, the phone was wiped clean, no fingerprints, no evidence. It was as if the caller had vanished into thin air. The victims were Darlene Ferrin and Michael Majo, a young couple parked at Blue Rock Springs. They had been ambushed by a gunman who fired multiple rounds into their car before walking away, then returning to shoot again, ensuring they were dead. Miraculously, Michael survived, despite being shot in the face, neck, and shoulder. Darlene wasn't so lucky. 2 days later, 3 major newspapers, the San Francisco Chronicle, San Francisco Examiner, and Vallejo Times-Herald, received nearly identical letters. Each contained a cryptic message in code, filled with strange symbols. The writer claimed responsibility for the murders and demanded his letters be published, threatening that if they weren't, he would kill again. The letters opened with a chilling declaration: "I like killing people because it is so much fun." The writer compared his need to kill to hunting wild game, saying it gave him the most thrilling experience. It was clear he saw himself as superior to his victims, to the police, to the world. Authorities scrambled to decode the cipher, but it wasn't police who cracked it, it was an ordinary couple. Donald and Betty Harden, amateur cryptographers from Salinas, sat at their kitchen table for days, working tirelessly. When they finally broke the code, the message was disturbing: "I will not give you my name because you will try to slow down or stop my collecting of slaves for my afterlife." The message confirmed what many feared: the Zodiac wasn't killing for money, revenge, or power. He was doing it simply because he wanted to. And he had no plans of stopping. Months passed, and another attack occurred. On September 27, 1969, college students Brian Hardnell and Cecilia Shepard were enjoying a peaceful afternoon by Lake Berryessa when a hooded figure emerged from the trees. He was dressed in all black, his head covered by a bizarre mask resembling an executioner's hood. On his chest was a white symbol, a circle with a cross through it. The man spoke in a calm, measured voice. He told them he was an escaped convict, that he needed money in their car to get to Mexico. But then, without warning, he tied them up and pulled out a knife. What followed was a brutal, frenzied attack. He stabbed them repeatedly before walking away. As they bled out on the ground, he calmly made his way to their car and scrawled a message on the door. Vallejo, December 20th, 68, July 4th, 69, September 27-69-6:30 by knife. Moments later, a call came into the Napa Police Department. The voice was eerily familiar. "I want to report a murder. No, a double murder." He gave the location and described the crime, then hung up. Cecilia Shepard died from her wounds, but Brian Hardnell miraculously survived. He described his attacker in chilling detail: the strange hood, the quiet voice, the mechanical precision of his actions. It was clear this man had planned everything. A few weeks later, he struck again. In San Francisco, cab driver Paul Stein picked up a passenger in the upscale Presidio Heights neighborhood. Minutes later, a gunshot rang out. Stein was dead, shot execution style. Unlike his previous killings, this one had witnesses. Teenagers across the street saw the suspect wiping down the car before walking away. They described a heavy-set man in glasses, looking completely unbothered, as if he had done nothing wrong. A mistake in the police dispatch led officers to search for a black suspect, allowing the real Zodiac to slip away. But he wasn't done yet. Days later, another letter arrived. This time, it contained a blood-stained piece of Paul Stein's shirt. The killer was playing with them. His letters became more erratic. He claimed he was planting bombs, that he would target school buses, that he was watching the police. Investigators worked around the clock, but the Zodiac always seemed to be ahead. Despite dozens of suspects, one name stood up: Arthur Lee Allen. He had been accused of disturbing behavior, owned a Zodiac brand watch with the killer symbol, and had even spoken about committing the perfect crime. But there was no hard evidence, no DNA match. The case went cold. Years turned into decades. Then, in 2020, one of the Zodiac's ciphers was finally solved. It read, "I am not afraid of the gas chamber because it will send me to paradise." A taunt from beyond the grave. In 2021, a group called the Casebreakers claimed they had identified the Zodiac, a man named Gary Francis Post, a deceased Air Force veteran with scars matching the Zodiac sketch. But the FBI dismissed the findings, and the case remains officially unsolved. To this day, the Zodiac's identity remains unknown. Was he a single man? A group? A police officer? A cryptographer? His ciphers still hold secrets, and people around the world continue to search for answers. Perhaps the Zodiac is dead. Perhaps he lived long enough to see himself become a legend. But one thing is certain: his shadow still lingers, a ghost of the past, whispering through his unsolved ciphers. The question remains, will we ever know his name? Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more unsolved mysteries. And let me know in the comments, who do you think the Zodiac really was?